Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. The penultimate tournament of this $150,000 who's going to be the king CDL Warzone thing they're putting on went down last night. Probably the best one of the lot, to be fair, with a 4v4 hardpoint action, loads of big comebacks and crazy maps in this one. Usual suspects taking the W, but Scrappy especially not too happy about the way that he lost one of these particular maps. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. First of all, wanted to mention on the Ravens, just because we saw this tweet from Temp yesterday, wasn't it, when he said yo at Ravens, and we get the same thing here from Gizmo. Now Gizmo was such a good player for this Ravens team at the start of Vanguard. Then there was he had to go back home. They made the change. PaulX came through. Then they're pretty good with PaulX as well. PaulX then went home. Well, he actually did go home. I guess he went to the Subliners in the end. But Gizmo came back. They made some changes. It didn't really work out for them, and now Zero's retired. I don't know if Gizmo's getting back into the league. It's tricky, right? Because that Ravens team at the start of Vanguard was actually, they came top 3 at the first event, didn't they? They were pretty damn good. But yeah, obviously it hasn't worked out in the long run for them. We'll see if Gizmo can make something happen, because we've got no idea what London are doing right now. And if you look at some of their options, Gizmo is definitely one of them that should be in consideration, unless they are going to move to Charlotte, which I don't know if they're going to do anymore, and actually have go down a more US route. But look, I think you've got to do, if you're London, what Miami Heretics are doing, and just, they have the Spanish team. They're going to be all Spanish. That organization is always going to have all Spanish players. That's how it's going to be. The way that London have gone the last few years with kind of mixing between UK players and American players, I don't necessarily hate it, but I just think that if you are going to bring in players from other regions like that, they've got to be real stars. Like, I don't think London fans aren't going to complain if they get Clayster to London, but getting players like Yuli and PaulX or aSeam, for example, it's like, I don't know, it leaves maybe a bit of a sour taste in some fans that have really been, wanting the Ravens to be a UK team in the same way that Miami Heretics are going to be a Spanish team, you'd think, forever. So we'll see if they go for that or whether they continue what they've done the last couple of seasons. We'll also quickly mention this from Bryce, because we talked about different franchises coming in. Lightning Pandas was such a cool brand back in the day. Obviously Shane, British player, now he's working for Los Angeles Thieves as their assistant coach, search and destroy guy. But yeah, definitely a brand I'd like to see back in COD, but probably not going to happen ever, probably. Maybe there's a world in which post-CDL, if we do go into a post-CDL era, then some of these organizations could be revived. But quickly, we also got this confirmed yesterday, so I think maybe all the teams had been confirmed, but this is a full look at it. So 4 teams, of course, for the off-season number 2, the $25,000 Black Ops 2 LAN, 23rd to the 24th of September. If you guys are local or even not local, this will be a fun time, I'm sure. There's other stuff going on at the venue as well. So these are the 4 teams. Who do you think are going to be the favorites? I know that people are going to be looking at this team, but I think there's a very good chance this team wins. Honestly, it's tough to say, because Killer last year was an absolute monster at this event, and he was putting his team on his back. No Big Timer this year, unfortunately, because Big T was great to have last season, but still, Nadeshot, Zinni, Attach, and Zuma, that's team 1. I'm not sure I have that much faith in that team, to be honest, but still, it is a team. Then Scump, Pred, Shotzzy, Karma. This is really interesting, because you've got kind of the new guard of OpTic, the old guard of OpTic, Scump and Karma, Pred and Shotzzy. Pred, I think his playstyle should work well for Black Ops 2. I don't imagine he's played that much of it. Shotzzy, I don't imagine has played like any Black Ops 2 really at all. And, there's an argument whether he's going to get, if he tries to fly around a corner and there's an M8 set up on a head glitch, unlucky mate, you're going to get bodied, because that's how COD used to be played. So we'll see about that one, right? Because you've got a mix there of, Shotzzy and Scump and Karma and Co. And then we've got other players that, were OGs. Okay, Temp came into the scene a little bit later, but Killer, Bows and Nameless from back in the day. And then this team, I think, is potentially the best on paper, which is Clay, Eggs, Crim, and John. I mean, it's pretty much a massive part of the former Complexity Dynasty, but okay, they had TP there. There's no TP because I think he's unavailable that weekend. John is there instead, though, and John was pretty good back then as well. John played for many a year in Call of Duty history before retiring relatively recently. Obviously a world champion in 2016, but he was around way longer than that. So those are your 4 teams. It's a long time until, well, it's basically a month until this happens. So pick your favorites, I guess, and place your bets for this one. But let's talk about this $20,000 COD Kings tournament. This is the penultimate one. There's going to be a $70,000 tournament, which is apparently going to be actually CDL versus Warzone, although I'm not sure they've technically yet said what the format of that is going to be. Last night was pretty clear, 4v4 hardpoints. These were the captains, which were just like all from the Warzone side, which is, it's fine, it doesn't really matter, whatever. They're Warzone players, they're going to pick up CDL players, and these were the teams. So on paper, where probably these top 4 were looking the most promising, I would say, and as the tournament progressed, that's kind of what we saw. But aBeZy, Cell rated, Scummin as well, so like a large part of the team that won the Search and Destroy tournament. Dashy, Kiz, aBeZy, and Slacked. It's kind of funny, right, that App and Slacked, this team is pretty stacked on paper, really, because App and Slacked, oh yeah, they're Warzone pros. This is why apparently Crim getting turned down to be a Warzone creator, because they said he should be a CDL pro. It's like, well, you know, if Crim has to be a CDL pro because he's not a Warzone creator, which is maybe justified, maybe it isn't. I'm just looking at, this team's got aBeZy and Slacked on, right? I mean, those are players that won plenty of championships in the Call of Duty history in their time, and even were competing in the CDL, of course. Slacked, I do think, is one of the more underrated players we've had in COD, to be fair, and aBeZy, 2-time world champion, with reigning world champion Kismet and Dashy. I mean, that's a pretty stacked team. Scrappy was playing with Envoy, Tommy, and then Shifty on their team as well, and we'll get into that in a second. And then Ghosty had a team with Simp, and they played some very interesting matches. Of course, there's other pros here, Gunless, Hacky, they're on a team, so, you know, pretty cool stuff, and it got kicked off yesterday. There was some crazy maps here. I know people are going to say, wow, as soon as you let Simp loose, and look, it's just a map of effectively pick up 8s here, but I know that people were looking at this and saying, damn, because Simp wasn't really, look, he was good this season on FaZe, for sure, but he wasn't spectacular this season on FaZe compared to aBeZy. He comes into this game, goes 34 in 8, and I think that FaZe, if Drazah can actually bring more pace here and Simp doesn't have to just sit in the hard point a whole lot of the time and doing a lot of the dirty work, then we might have, especially because this game on paper, Modern Warfare 3, seems a little bit closer to Cold War than it has done previously. Simp might really be back in force this year if FaZe are structured better as a team, and also the game suits Simp a little bit better. So yeah, he was popping off in this one, 34 and 8 with Ghosty slightly behind. So that was against Priestahh and Snoopy. Interesting, of course, just to see how Snoopy does this season, because he's on the Boston Breach. Technically, his rookie year will be this year, but it's kind of remarkable that he actually played at the World Championship after Boston decided to go ahead and make that move. Now, this was another crazy map here where Rated has a bit of a stinker, right? 16 and 36. aBeZy drops 47 here for the loss against Simp and Ghosty and co. But that wasn't the most kills dropped of the day for the loss. That went to Scrappy. Now, there was also this match here where Scrap and co were just destroying Gunless and Parasite's team. Scrap went 37 in 21 this map, so lots of screenshots just to this effect. We know Scrap was fantastic at Modern Warfare 2, and let's be honest, he's probably going to be fantastic at Modern Warfare 3. This, though, was another very interesting screenshot that I just love to mention when these storylines arrive, to be honest, because it's definitely one of the key things I'm looking at for next season is Thieves, where Ghosty we think is going to be joining, versus OpTic. Now, on paper, Thieves versus OpTic shouldn't be too close. Thieves aren't paying the money this year, they don't necessarily have the resources and the team that they might have put together in the previous couple of seasons, but still, Ghosty versus Dashy, for various reasons, will be a little bit spicy next season, and when they played here, it was Ghosty's team that got the job done in this series, and Ghosty this map goes 38 in 16 with 2 minutes in the hill, and yeah, Dashy's team not even particularly close to winning this one here on the hotel, so that I thought was really interesting. Obviously, you know, Limax, Armand, and Simp here, but yeah, Ghosty 38 in 16 for the dub in this one. Very impressive stuff, but that wasn't the only big talking map of the day. I just wanted to share a couple of clips here, especially this one from Scrap, where, again, he's absolutely going off. He dropped, I'm pretty sure, the most kills of the day here on this Embassy hardpoint. 56 kills for the loss.
What the hell?
No, there's no way. There's no.
No.
Side door, jump.
This is
No way. No way. No way.
Oh my God.
No way.
Oh my God. Abe is going nuclear.
No way.
Abe is going.
Oh my God.
Oh.
No.
What the hell?
Oh my God. Yo.
What the hell?
Nah, this tournament's wild.
Nice.
Location updated.
Yo, behind me. Toilet.
Enemy targets at the hard.
One's laying down.
One shot on time, bro. Absolute left corner.
We're not making it, are we?
We've
Holy
lost
shit,
the
we got
lead.
56.
God, bro. Try.
Mission compromised.
Oh, that was insane.
We're done.
Actually got shit slammed that map.
Holy shit. Wait, were you lagging that, Shifty?
No, I alt that forward. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I'm watching RVS.
We gotta jump in.
Side door, go. 3, go. You know something?
Nice. There's one out. There's one out. There's one out. Watch rolls. Watch rolls.
I have pulse. I have pulse.
Left house. Nice.
Nothing open hall.
We're going hall.
We just did that. We just did that. Oh my god, this guy just had 60. Wait, this guy just had 60.
Jesus.
Yo, this guy just had 60.
Oh my god, bro.
I was the entry sub at the end.
Jesus, bro.
Oh my god, they need to give them 100 each.
No way, bro.
Oh
I gotta give them at least 100
Yeah,
each.
at least,
No
bro. Like,
way.
Wait, this guy just had
That was-
60.
60 kills
I'll
for the loss? Jesus
my
Christ, we get a
God.
trade on that roster.
what the fuck, bro? How do
Oh
we
my
win?
god.
249, bro. Oh my god.
So Scrap was not so happy with that one at all. I mean, we also saw that crazy comeback as well. aBeZy and Co. won that 250-249 game. I'm pretty sure they were down on that fortress, like 100-1. I think people said like 120-1 at some point. They were getting bodied the first couple of hills. But that's how especially that map worked, where you really can bring the comebacks, which is also one of the reasons why just hardpoint's the best game mode as far as I'm concerned. And we had the conversations the other day about some of the pros wanting to go to 3 hardpoints, 2 search and destroys or whatever, and how that would potentially be formed. I don't think it will be necessary. I would prefer definitely to have a viable third game mode. An uplink, capture the flag if it plays well in the new game. Obviously, uplink was the best in my opinion back in the jetpack era. Not going to happen anymore. So I do prefer the 3 game mode idea. But if we had to, I wouldn't be opposed to 3 hardpoints if the game actually plays quite well for hardpoint going forwards. But in the end, it was Rated and Co. with aBeZy's team that got the victory. Look at this turn on as well that Rated gets. I think that's on Envoy. Envoy just gets spun on right there. Let me just hit the replay on this. Obviously, Rated former COD pro for many a year, so he knows how to shoot straight. But yeah, that was pretty nice. And yeah, so Simp and Co. they get 2nd place. I think Dashy's team eventually got 3rd. So Ghosty and Simp's team outplacing Dashy's team, which was maybe on paper the most stacked really, with Dashy, Kiz, Apathy, and Slacked, but didn't work out in that way. So Simp gets 2nd to the familiar faces in this tournament of Rated's team, which of course is aBeZy's team. We can see they made the run here, and they lost to Team Limax in the semi-finals. That's they lost to Simp and Co in the semi-finals. They went down they won the losers, and then they won 4 straight to win back-to-back grand finals in the double elimination quick format they did here. So that was what the bracket looked like, and again, aBeZy and Co win it. I mean, it's kind of crazy that I mean, it's maybe not a massive surprise, but you look at the grand finals of this tournament, and you've got 2 FaZe guys on one team, as in this team. You've got 1 FaZe player on the other team, and it's like, well, the player with more, or the team with more FaZe players wins. So aBeZy's raking in the cash. You got to say this offseason, because he's playing these tournaments and winning pretty much all of them, with Cell, Rated, and Scum this time around as well. So good victory for them. Now, it wasn't 150k technically. I think it was 20k, but the remaining 70k of the 150k prize pool is going to be distributed in a few days' time, when it's meant to actually be CDL versus Warzone. There's been some mixed reports on how they're going to execute this, whether there's actually going to be still some 2v2 kill races involved, but between like 2 CDL pros and 2 Warzone creators, they're also going to play some search and destroy, and then maybe even do some 1v1s or something. So like nothing that's massively going to favor the CDL pros. I mean, everyone can play search, I think. It's in the hardpoint where you really see the difference in skill and preparation, I would say, between the CDL pros and the Warzone creators. And I think we did see a lot of that last night with some of the numbers that Scrappy was putting up for the loss, it's got to be said. So his team eventually, yeah, where did they finish in the end? Was it, yeah, they came top 4, I guess. That's Shifty's team, who, yeah, as we saw in that scoreboard, wasn't, I think he even rage quit the game, because he went like 21 in 40 or something, Shifty. It's not like he was doing terrible all the time. And you could see that the likes of Scumman and Shifty, like, they can kind of hang with the slaying sometimes. But yeah, in that particular circumstance, he wasn't so happy, and Scrappy wasn't so happy as a result. So very much interested to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Just I thought it was quite nice to look at this that OpTic Texas tweeted out. You had to be there, looking back at the Black Ops 4 meta. It's a shame that we haven't really had anything like this since then. It was the same, honestly, in Infinite Warfare, when you had the NV4, very similar in many ways to the ICR. You had the K-Bar, very similar in many ways to the Maddox. And then you had the ERAD, which is, you know, the SMG, kind of like the SORG. And in those 2 games, we had 3 viable weapons. It was so much fun. Now, look, the Maddox Lux was just unbelievably good during this game, but so was the ICR, like towards the end of the titles, 2 ICRs on a team sometimes, and then obviously the Sorg when they buffed it to become a hit scan version of itself. That was such a fun gun to use. Man, good times. And I'd be so hyped if we can somehow get back to a 3-weapon meta for the upcoming season, but it's probably not going to happen. Remember to Twitter your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.